Today we're going to be talking about the February events in retail Final Fantasy XI. We have a little bit of a strange update for the February update. In general, things are a little weird right now because we are coming up to the end of the Voracious Resurgence, retail's most recent storyline that's going to be ending in some kind of ultimate weapon finale. We have the stage 2 ultimate weapons already, so there's a lot of us looking forward to how they're going to end that. But in the meantime, we have an update with some interesting additions to the game. However, there's also some decent campaigns going on and a new login item that we're going to jump into right now. So as you can see, the prismatic chest that is currently a sort of random chest that you can get from doing Amen Trove is now a login point item furnishing for your Mog House. So before we get too far off of that, I do want to go over what that gives because it is unique. This prismatic chest item is a dark energy item for your Mog House. It says a shining coffer whose scintillating glimmer lends a spot of cheer to any dreary living room. Importantly though, it gives the moglification Amen Trove. Now the description of this moglification is increased chance by 5% to obtain a new Mars orb or Venus orb back when trading a used one to Grayson. This is when you trade your used orbs to Grayson, he gives you like an orange juice or a copper Amen voucher. Some percentage of the time, it was very low. I believe it might have been as low as 2%. That orb would just refresh. Going from 2% to plus 5 should be 7%. Now, the reason I say that with a question mark is because sometimes percentages in this game are weird. For example, there are items that increase your skill gain rate for synthesis, and if it says like increases your skill gain rate by 25%, that is 25% of your current skill gain rate. So say you have a 10% chance to skill up on a synth and you add 25% to that, you get 12.5% chance to skill up, not 35% chance to skill up. My assumption is, given these numbers, I would assume that this is a straight 5% increase, as in now 7% of the time your orbs are getting refreshed. If you're the type of person who has like Trove mules that get orbs every month, or somebody who's got some silver vouchers saved from previous like New Year's campaigns, etc., this is a rather significant recharge rate. So very welcome to players who are doing Amen Trove like very regularly. The average player base is gonna they're gonna see this, once every couple of months, this extra 5% bonus. However, of course, because it is a moglification, you have to center the energy in your Mog House around using it, which most players aren't really using any of the Mog enhancements that are currently in the game, so this may be a no-brainer for a lot of you. Now, going back to the repeat login campaign, it's a pretty standard campaign, your usual 10-point kind of fun items. You have some of the skirmish items here, which we'll get to later because of campaigns. There is actually a comeback which is the yellow chocobo outfit. That's a fun one if you've never picked it up. It comes around every now and again, so definitely grab that up if that's something you're interested in. Of course, the prismatic chest is 500 points. You don't need to buy more than one, although you certainly could, because there's no like synergy recipe to make a better version or anything weird like that. 750 points is your usual items for, your NQ pop items for the Land Kings, as well as the jukebox for your Mog House. 1,000 points, Mog Patio, standard. However, there is also some of these items that I just want to warn people against. Don't use your 1,000 points on these items under any circumstances. They're very easy to come by doing Unity. These are practically the least valuable items that there are from Unity, and most of these are very easy to get in a small group. Naturally, there's still your Savory Shank for 1,500, which a lot of players do because of the defending ring. So that's going to do it for login points. Highly recommended the prismatic chest for most people. It's a very unique enhancement. Moving on, we have the New Year's Alter Ego Expo. This is the list of alter egos that you can acquire during this campaign. You can either read it here on the official website. I recommend BG Wiki's guide to figuring out how to acquire these. Most of these, I forget if you can get Ferris Coffin in-game normally, but Ferris Coffin will raise a party member and is very useful for that. But otherwise, a lot of these are basically granted to you when you do the initial trust quest, and you may only need some of these trusts to complete your quest for extra trust levels. If you don't know what that is, here's the quest that starts with the NPC Marjorie in Rulude Gardens. Essentially, you need 86 trusts, excluding your Unity trust, and once you complete the quest, depending upon the number of players in your party, your trust gain levels. So if you have 4 players, excluding yourself, so you and 4 others, the one trust you summon will be plus 5 levels. This makes it so when you're partying with players that you need to fill in your party with trusts, you will get better trusts out of that. And again, I bring that up because you may not own some of these, and this is a good time to get them. Moving on to campaigns. Campaigns this month, we have increased seal and crest drop rate campaign, which of course comes along with additional seal battlefield spoils. This is your seal coupons. Once again, I like to bring these up, especially with a lot of players doing sortie right now and needing to upgrade their Empyrean gear. You can do these fights and obtain seal coupons and trade them in for a seal pack, which upgrades 1 Empyrean piece through the seal stage. Very good, and of course they're giving you additional seals in order to aid you in doing these fights. Next up, double Simulacra segment campaign. This is alongside, we're going to see in a minute, there's a skirmish campaign going on, but this increases the drop rate of Simulacra segments in order to do more skirmish. Usually these can already be found in the auction house. This isn't super necessary. Delve campaign plus. Delve campaign is the time if you're working on Idris or EPO, you want to get enough Muoplasm in order to upgrade them to their final stage. You get twice as much during Delve, as well as Muoplasm is a very good income stream because you can buy items such as Igdraent Bowl or Waxa Crest with your plasm. So it's also a good money-making campaign if you have 2 other people. You need 3 people to enter Delve if you have other people to do Delve with. Considering Mua is given to the player and not a drop or anything like that, just party up with people, do a bunch of Delve, and make some go. The Abyssia campaign. This is really for returning players that hadn't really played through the Abyssia era, or new players to the game. Make sure to grab this at Horst in Port Juno H8. There's a chest there. It gives you some starter items to get started on working in Abyssia. Surge Walk campaign, another moneymaker. All Walk of Echoes content will become Surge Walks for the duration of the campaign. This is where you get your Pixie Hairpin, your Flume Belt +1, and Enchanter's Earring +1. They're good money drops. The Surge Walks go pretty quickly. You have a chance of getting those valuable items from the chest. Definitely take a look at the various Surge Walks on BG Wiki in order to determine where best to spend your time. A lot of players can tell you if you just ask. Players will tell you where the best place probably is to go for what job you play and like what your gear is. Campaign Fiesta. This is outdated content, but they've added Monty at silver pieces, 100 bind bills, Luggo Nuggo. The drop rate is not that great. Chances are most people who do campaign do it because they're curious about the older content. I don't think it's worth your time in order to try to get these drops. Vagary campaign. Most of the time, people will be doing this for its additional rewards that you get from whatever the master deems worthy when doing vagary, and usually that's the focus for this campaign when it comes up. But I do want to point out there's an important part here. The rate at which etching items drop from enemies has been increased. Actually, again, with the amount of Empyrean gear people are working on, you're going to need those etched memories. I'm not even sure what they're going for right now because I've upgraded everything I need past the etched memory stage, and I assume this is why they're doing the vagary campaign along with some of the other, like the eye seals. Next up, Skirmish Frenzy Campaign Plus. Skirmishes will undergo the following changes during the duration of the campaign. Personal treasure coffer ranks will increase. Essentially, all these things add up to doing skirmish, where you get better chances at the drops, such as acro gear or Teon gear that are augmentable with skirmish stones, and of course the wings that allow you to just trade for the items you're looking for. If you need to be doing skirmish, you need that gear, this is the time to be doing it. I would say if you're unfamiliar with this and you're relatively new to the game, definitely find somebody more experienced to just take you in and get some of this stuff. Players are generally willing to help. It's somewhat of a fun piece of content for a little while, and it does, personally, it wears on me pretty quickly, but it does offer plenty of important pieces for different jobs. Gaia's Feet Plus. This is the Eshka Silt campaign, and also you get free Eshka elixirs. This is really for those who are relatively new to doing anything in the Eshka areas. Maybe you have very little silt and you want to get your urn to hold more silt. If you want to buy some of your Eshka specific upgrade passives, some of that stuff, you may need this, but in general, this is not super important. Ryzenjima Gaia's Feet for the duration of the campaign. Vanquishing NMs in Ryzenjima will yield an additional personal reward from that Notorious Monsters loot table. Of course, if you're having a hard time getting drops in Ryzenjima, this is a good one for you. Basically, it gives you another chance at the gear drops, especially something like the tree mob, which is kind of a pain to kill without the right setups, and you're really trying to get the body from that mob. You want all the chances you can get. This is a good time to do it. Moving on. Abjuration Dial campaign, the AB dial. Honestly, I just throw away these keys. The abjurations that are offered are all throughout the various abjurations that happen throughout the game's lifespan, and 99.9% of them will not be relevant to you. If you want a particular abjuration, just save up some DI points and go buy it yourself. Monster Rearing campaign. Reared creatures will be twice as likely to transform during this campaign. If you are working on monster rearing for the specific cheers and mementos, this is a good time to get your monster to transform. I feel like it's rare for people to to fall on this campaign exactly when they're trying to transform a monster, but if you're currently working on that and you'll know who you are, here you go. This is lining up for you. Chocobo digging skill increase. For the duration of the campaign, chocobo digging will be more likely to increase each time your chocobo digs. Essentially, chocobo digging has 100 hidden, up to 100 hidden skill. Some of the time you will get 0.1 skill ups while digging. The game does not have any system in order to tell you when that happens, but you do need to skill up. Once you skill up to 10, your chocobo digging speed increases. There's various other perks to getting your chocobo level up. Those hidden skill ups, which do exist in the game, will be going up faster for this campaign. Personally, I wouldn't touch this unless they also have the hyper chocobo digging campaign going on at the same time. But for those of you who already have a relatively high chocobo digging skill and are looking to maybe cap it at 100 for completion's sake, very tiny subset of players, this is for you. Now, macro cosmic orb campaign. Here's another guild maker. These all drop various things, like you have a chance at some of the like HQ abjuration gear, various other valuable items. It's basically these random loot pools with some valuable items in them. This is actually kind of fun to do. And honestly, with trusts, I might recommend, let's see. This one isn't too bad. The amphibian assault with the Forsahagen is pretty good if you're like just trying to like use trusts. Make sure you have some kind of sleep or your defensive gear is pretty good. But in general, unless you're able to really like sleep multiple targets, some of these are going to be a bit harder for certain players. I would maybe duo some of these with people if you're looking to get gil from it, because those drops are from the chest. And of course, we're getting increased seals this month. Lastly, we have Omen Light Double Up campaign. Effectively doubles your chances of receiving a free floor while doing Omen. If you've had those free floors, you know they're very swingy. I've had a very small handful of times where we actually got items the group needed from those rooms, but it does happen, and if you're consistently doing Omen, you will probably likely notice this effect. And Gallantry campaign, your badges of Gallantry earned once per day from normal and intense will be doubled. Again, this stacks with a steal, so a steal is 3x, this is 2x total. In total, you get 6 times the amount of Gallantry. You can cap Gallantry very easy during these months. So that's going to do it for campaigns, and now we have an update with some really different things to it. Let's just read through and I'll go over my thoughts on some of the stuff that's been added this month. Good day, adventurers. Matsui here with this month's FF11 Roundup. Winter is upon us in full force here in Japan, and I hope those of you in similarly cold climates are staying bundled up. I'm currently struggling with how best to stay warm in my office without running up an absurd heating bills, so instead, I'm working on keeping warm on the inside by bringing you information on the February version update. As I mentioned last month, the Voracious Resurgence is taking a brief pause as we gear up for the home stretch. We've got some story beats and mission battles we think you'll enjoy, and the team is currently working their utmost to brush them up for a March release. Stay tuned for more. If you're unsure what the ending of TVR is going to look like, what we know so far is it's going to be in 2 more parts, where it's going to be Chapter 11, and Chapter 11 will be split in 2, and they're saying that Chapter 11 Part 1 is some story beats and mission battles. Personally, I would expect Part 2 to have the finale that involves the Prime weapons. Next up is Ambuscade. Both Ambuscade months are returning battles. Volume 1 features coarse foes with slightly adjusted mechanics. We made it a bit harder to go with one-sided strategy of sealing their special attacks while simultaneously decreasing the frequency and changing the conditions of them using charm abilities. Yeah, I remember you would have to kind of like cheese the charm earlier, but it looks like they've spaced it out. I think there's some notes on the actual patch notes we'll take a look at in a second. Demons are the focus of Volume 2, and the battle is centered on team versus team combat, with multiple foes each playing a specific role. The key to victory lies in deciding which one to defeat first. You might find things a bit easier if you bring a lot of area of effect attacks. That's your Volume 2. Job adjustments features the pets. Okay, here we go. Job adjustments feature the pets of Beastmasters, Dragoons, Summoners, and Puppet Masters gaining physical and magic evasion as their owner's item level increased. Additional, the pet critical damage cap formula has been increased across all level ranges. So I was reading on the forums about this. There was a little bit of research done on the critical damage cap. So basically, it seems to be about a 25% increase in the critical damage cap for all pets, which is pretty significant, but it's just kind of out of the blue. And the other thing I want to point out here is they say the pets are going to gain physical and magic evasion as their owner's item level increased. I wonder if that was some kind of oversight or if they just weren't increasing Meva and Ava. Unsure. I mean, of course, any pet job is going to welcome the additional evasions. You know, something like Dragoons doing, you know, like Odyssey NMs and losing their Wyvern pretty quickly sometimes. Kind of annoying because it lowers your overall DPS. Summoners, of course, one thing that kind of stinks is when your pet gets killed before you can even perform your blood pact, when you have to go in and do a blood pact on them. Again, all welcome, or these are welcome changes. The critical hit damage cap is a little strange. I don't know, they're putting in some backwork on pet jobs. For Sortie, the reservation system adjustments we previously announced have been pushed off to a future update while we further refine the underlying cogs and wheels. With that said, we remain committed to making sure that everyone is able to enjoy Sortie in a timely fashion. So right now, Sortie, I think there's maybe like 4 reservations per server, and you have to wait for somebody to come out for your party to go in. Some days it can be very bottlenecked. I imagine Asura, for example, has very high sortie lines at certain times of day. In general, on Bahamut, it hasn't been too bad, but yeah, they're looking to address that, which is good. Additionally, we're taking the first steps to implement a long requested feature, a chat log filter, officially known as the term filter. We intend to make incremental updates and additions to the term filter over the course of several version updates, as it is difficult to implement such an undertaking all at once without risking adversely impacting your gameplay experience. As such, we've elected to divide the workload across a handful of months. But the initial filter system will become available in the February version update. We'll be taking a look at the update notes in a second. Essentially what this is instead of blacklisting players that are shouting for maybe mercenary services or guild selling or something like that, what happens is those accounts end up getting banned anyway, and they have like randomly generated names. So you would have to then ban them again, which inflates the size of your blacklist on your individual characters. Now you can just add in filtered terms. Say you want to filter, guild selling, you can just read, the type of shouts those players do, and then just add some of those more unique phrases into the terms filter, and it will filter those messages completely for you. Of course, those guild sellers will probably invent new ways in order to express those things, but honestly, I think the subset of ways that they can do that is going to decline over time. I think this is actually a really good addition to the game. It's probably something that should have happened a long time ago, and we'll take a look at the specifics of it in the patch notes. Let's just finish up here. The version update notes will contain more details on how to utilize it, and yeah, we'll take a look at that. I can scarcely believe that we're already a full month into 2023. I hope that this year is exciting and fruitful for you and yours as you're able to enjoy a healthy game-life balance. See you in Vanadil. Okay, ROEs. We did get a new ROE from the Peculiar Foes for silver vouchers that is in Oldton Movopolis. I forget. So the descript says Newton or Oldton. It's in the other one at the position labeled in the description. Ambuscade has been changed out. Sortie, additional instances, they said that is delayed. Chat log filtering feature is in fact here. Pets have been adjusted, yes. Areas, remove level difference penalty, that's the Movopolis thing. Items, new item is the prismatic chest, and Porter Moogle, list of supported items, maybe that's the chest as well. Anyway, the actual notes, we have Ambu, pet jobs, yes, okay, and prismatic chest has been added to slip 22. This is the sortie announcement, but they're saying that's delayed. Now here's the term filter. Now if you want to use this, you're gonna have to go through this. I have not done it personally, but essentially they have exact step-by-step directions here in order to edit prohibited text that you want filtered in the game. Applying the filter, you want to do in-game in MISC 4. Yeah, that's it. If you want to get using that, you can start using it right away. It was in the version update. You can even copy log messages to clipboard. I can see this being useful for other things. So open the chat log, select the line you wish to copy, open the menu, select copy to clipboard to copy the selected line. Lines copy to the clipboard may be copied to any file you wish. If somebody throws you like a URL for like a guide or something in link shell chat, you can now copy it to clipboard and then paste it into your browser. I mean, that's handy. Again, I said this update was a little weird, and I think that this is kind of summing it up for me. They added copy to clipboard, they added a term filter that is like obviously useful, but it just seems like really late to be adding, but it's still useful. And then some changes to pets out of the blue. Again, slightly weird update, but again, the big update is coming next month as we conclude Voracious Resurgence. So that's going to do it for February's update. Definitely keep an eye on this channel as we move into March and hopefully April with the conclusion of TVR. It's a very exciting time to be a retail player. Definitely keep up on Sortie, because that may or may not be an important piece of content to clear to finish your prime weapons. Either way, it's really good to be working on your Empyrean +3 gear. Retail players, I hope you're having a good time out there. I hope some of these campaigns are useful to you, and don't forget that prismatic chest. All right, that's going to do it for today's video. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.